Hello everyone, today is a beautiful day. I trust your day is going great. You're welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to achieve that lovely sleeve you saw at the beginning of the video. But before we get started, I just like to say a big welcome to the first time viewers. Nice to have you. Please don't leave without subscribing, sharing, liking, or you can just leave me a comment. To all my subscribers, you guys are the best. I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Now let's jump into our tutorial. This is the lovely organza fabric we'll be using, and I have 2 yards here. We are going to be drafting on the pattern paper and I have it on fold. Now draw your starting line. Next, place the total length of your sleeve. I'm using 23.5 inches. Just place yours and square it up. The next line we'll place is the cap height line, which is gotten when we divide bust circumference by 12 inches plus 1 inch, which gives me a total of 3.8. So from the starting line, I'll go down and place 3.8 inches. Then I'll square it up to form my cap's height line. On the line, place half your armhole measurement and mark it. From that point, connect it to the starting line, just like I am doing. For the sleeve opening, make your hand into a fist and take the round measurement. Whatever you have, I have 9 inches, you divide it by 2 and place half of that measurement on the hemline. Okay, so from that point, you connect it all the way to the cap's height line. Measure half of the diagonal line, then mark it. Go up from that point by ½ inch and mark also. Now we are going to form the armhole lines. Place your curve ruler at the edge of the starting line and let it touch the point we just made. Then draw the curve. Just watch what I'm doing and do the same. Flip the curve ruler just as I have done and make another curve, making sure it touches that point, then it blends into the diagonal line. This is the back armhole. For the front armhole, let the curve ruler touch the edge of the starting line and also the point on the diagonal line. Then make your curve. Flip the curve ruler and make the second curve, making sure it touches that same point and touches the edge of the cap's height line. So, this is going to be our front armhole. Now that we're done drafting our sleeve pattern, we're going to cut it out using the back armhole line, okay? After cutting out your sleeve, open your pattern, then you cut off the back armhole so that the front armhole remains. Then you label them back and the front, okay? The next thing we're going to do is to fold our paper. After folding, we'll go to the hemline and place 1 inch at the hemline and mark. You also go to the cap's height line and place 1.5 inches and mark it. Connect these 2 points together all the way to the top. Then you cut on the line. This is what we have right now, and I'm going to transfer the smaller piece onto another pattern paper. I have a plain paper here, so we're going to be transferring the smaller piece on it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to make my starting line. Next, place the full length of your sleeve. So I'll just place 23.5 inches here. Then I'll square up my line. Remember, we marked 1.5 inches on the cap's height line and 1 inch on the hemline. So we're going to be transferring that same markings on the new paper we have. So to that 1.5 inches, you add 3.5 inches, and to the 1 inch, just add 1.5 inches. Now connect the 2 points together. Now at this point, because we're going to be doing the slash and spread method, so what we're going to do is divide the sleeve by any dimension you want, okay? But I'm using 3 here, okay? So I'm just measuring 3 inches each, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Connect the lines together, and I'm going to cut it out. Right now, just number all the boxes so that it doesn't get mixed up while you're working. Then you cut each and every one of them out. I have my brown paper here and I'm going to be placing the pieces on top of it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is to create my joining allowance, which is 0.5 inches. So I'll just mark that at the top and at the end of the paper, okay? Then I'll connect these points together. At the top of the paper also, mark 1/2 inch and square it up. At this point, you take the full measurement of your sleeve multiplied by 2, okay? So whatever you have, you mark it on the pattern paper. So I have 23.5 by 2 is going to give me 47, so I'll just mark 47 there. Add 1/2 inch also for hem allowance. Go to the other side also, mark the 47 inches, then add the 1/2 inch also. Then you connect both points together just like I'm doing. Next, we're going to be placing the pieces on the brown paper, but before we do that, we're going to make a marking of 3 inches all the way down. Now, using your gum, sellotape, masking tape, or what have you, stick the pieces onto the brown paper from the line that we made earlier on, okay? So you leave a space of 3 inches before you stick the next one. Okay, so that's what you're going to do all the way to the end. The next thing we're going to do is to add seam allowances, okay, at the side. So what you're just going to do is mark 0.5 inches, okay, at the tip of any one of the boxes. Then you use your straight ruler to connect them together. Fold at the hem and now cut it out. So this is what we have, guys. We're going to be transferring them onto our fabric now. I've gone ahead to cut out 4 pieces of this particular pattern. You need 2 pieces for each sleeve. So when you're cutting out your fabric, make sure you are very patient and you pin it because it's very slippery. I've also gone ahead to cut out both the front and the back sleeve, and I have 2 pieces of each. I added 1/2 inch to the armhole, 1/2 inch to this side and to the hem, and 1 inch to the side, okay? I did the same thing for the other sleeve as well. So we have 2 pieces of each one of them, okay? So for this pattern, we added no allowance because the allowance is already on the pattern. So I just cut it out like that, okay? So this is the part where we're going to be joining together. This part of the pattern paper, this side is where we're going to be joining. So make sure you indicate it when you cut out your fabric. Make sure you indicate that part because that's the part we're going to be stitching together. So I have pinned 2 pieces together and I'm going to be taking it to the machine right now and stitch it on that side. Okay, this is what it looks like after stitching it. So I've gone ahead to open it flat and iron it out. The next thing we're going to do is to run our gathered stitch at the side, okay? So we'll be running the gathered stitch also at the center line and also at the other side. So we'll be using 0.5 inches to stitch it, and we're going to do the same thing for the other piece as well. I'm done running the gathered stitch. So the next thing we're going to do is to pull our thread. But before we start to pull our thread, we have to ensure that at the end of the day, when you pull the thread, the sleeve ends up being 24.5 inches, okay? Remember, we started off with 23.5 inches, then we added 1/2 inch at the top and 1/2 inch at the bottom, so making a total of 24.5 inches. So make sure you pull your thread and keep measuring and make sure that you end up at 24.5 inches. So whatever your own measurement is, just make sure that you end up, with the length of your sleeve plus your 1 inch allowance, okay? I'm going to start pulling from the center line right now. Now for this thread that we ran at the center of this sleeve, you can either use the elastic thread or you can also use your elastic to do it. Make sure you measure and adjust until you get the appropriate length needed, okay? Once you are satisfied with the length, you can go ahead and start pulling the next thread. When you are done, go ahead and pull the last thread. Now that we're done pulling the thread, the next thing to do is to attach it to the other part of the sleeve. Remove the pins, then take a piece of the back and a piece of the front also. Mark the front piece so that you don't get confused while working. Place the sleeve on one side of the gathered piece, making sure the right sides are touching each other. Also ensure that the widest part of the gathers is attached to the top part of the sleeve, and you begin to pin it from top all the way to the bottom. On the other side of the ruffle, begin to attach the back side of the sleeve, okay, making sure that you start attaching the widest part from the top all the way to the bottom, and also making sure that right sides of both sleeve and ruffle are touching each other. When you are done pinning, you take it to your machine and go and stitch it by 1/2 inch on both sides. This is what it looks like so far after stitching. So the next thing we are going to do is to close it up at the side seam. So you just turn it over, right sides facing each other, and stitch it by 1 inch, okay? After that, you fold at the hem and you're done with your sleeve, okay? This is the final look of our sleeve, guys. It came out really pretty. I've closed it up at the side seam and hemmed it at the opening. All right, so you can also go ahead and whip it inside, or you can just trim it, whatever you prefer to do. And this is how we're going to be attaching it onto our armhole, okay? So make sure you cut all the threads. Okay, one last thing, at the top of the sleeve is going to be a little excess at that point. So what you're going to do is to either pleat it as you're sewing it along, okay? So you pleat it and make sure you pleat it, or you gather it at the top to reduce the excess, okay? It's supposed to be gathered at the top. We have come to the end of this tutorial. So if you enjoyed watching this tutorial or you learned a thing or two, please give me a thumbs up, share with your family and friends. Don't forget to subscribe, put on your notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified each time I put up a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Stay blessed. Bye.